guys, it's Sierra from Holistically Attuned, coming to you with episode 3 from our podcast, Becoming Magical 101. Um, Guys, I just really want to say how much I am just loving doing this podcast. It is so much fun. I feel like a lot of times I'm having all these great conversations with myself. Or, somebody asked me a question in my in basket, I am um, sending them like a whole textbook. And, so I feel like it's a great way to kind of get that information out there, and it makes it a little more personable to do it this way. I mean, even though there's not really a lot of interactions, not like you guys are calling in or anything, but I do read your messages and then I can address them here on the podcast. So I think that that's dope. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to this podcast so that you can share its contents with others. I will actually also upload this video on YouTube. If you are watching me on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. Okay, guys? So what I wanted to dive into today was some common misconceptions when you're on your path of spirituality. And this is going to be good no matter what part of your journey that you are on, whether you are very new to spirituality or you've been practicing a few months to even a few years. These are still some common misconceptions that sometimes we don't even figure out until we're in our journey for years, or maybe, we don't know if somebody were to address us with this, we wouldn't really know how to respond to it, even though in our hearts we know that it's not right, whatever it is that they're saying, but we might not have the right words to articulate why that is a misconception. And so that's a lot of what I want to be talking about today. Also, just because I wanted to put myself back in that moment where when I first started on my journey, how I was very nervous to tell people, or, I was very just hush hush because I felt like I didn't want others to judge me. And if I'm being 100% honest, I'm not sure if I was even judging myself a little bit, because everything is always hammered into you about what's wrong and what's right and what's good and what's bad. And so you're really fighting yourself, especially in the beginning. And there's going to come a point in time where you start fighting yourself, when you're ready to come out of your broom closet. You're fighting yourself with, do I want to tell people? Well, it's really none of their business. But really, that's just a protective shield that you put up for yourself because, yeah, no, it isn't any of their business. But at the same time, you really don't want to deal with the thought of a backlash that's going to come from you just being out in the open about what it is that you like, you practice, you love doing. And so I wanted to put myself back in that moment and kind of review some of the things that I wish that I had known or that I felt comfort in when people would validate that, in a sense. And this will strengthen the idea of not looking towards others to validate you guys, because I'm going to tell you things that you've already known, and that's going to strengthen the concept of your confidence within. Okay. And so let's see, the first common misconception, well, not the first, but I made a list of ones to review. So practicing spirituality means that you don't believe in God. Why? Why is that what it means? Why, because you believe in spirituality, does that mean that you no longer believe that there's a higher power that blesses your life and the people around you? If somebody asks you that, you ask them to help you make sense of what they're saying. Help me help you. How does that make sense? Why is it because I choose to not follow the path of traditional religion from your viewpoint? Does that now mean that I no longer believe in a higher power? It's a very common misconception. Me personally, I may not believe in everything that is written in a book, written in the Bible. I may not believe everything that is written in that text, because let's not forget that this is the same Bible that they used to enslave, our ancestors so many years back. So everything is about interpretation, right? So I may not believe just because you're saying things out of that book that is the truth. However, that does not mean that I don't believe in a higher power. I believe that my steps are guided. I believe that what willpower is, or free will, I'm sorry, what free will is really God's way of telling you you have free will because you are a co-creator of your own universe. That's what free will is. It is it is making you recognize that you are a co-creator of your own universe. I didn't decide this for you. You make the decision on how you want this to be. You are a co-creator of your own universe, which means you have the power to manipulate the energies around you to make your world what you want it to be. Um, and that is something that's like right over people's head because you're just used to hearing free will. Yeah, but what does that mean from a spirituality perspective? To me, that means you are a co creator of your own universe, which means you possess the metaphysical power, the capability to manipulate energy to make your world what you want it to be. Okay? The mind is a very powerful thing. So if you think it, you believe it, you become it. It's really that simple. It's just hard for us to get over ourselves. We have a hard time letting go of our ego. We have a hard time removing this glass ceiling that we place this I can't attitude. Why can't you? Because it's difficult. Okay. Does that mean you can't, or does that mean it's difficult? Difficult does not correlate to can't. They're two separate words. If they meant the same thing, they would be the same word. They don't have the same meaning. They just don't. And so, yes, I believe in a higher power. Um, so that's that. Another common misconception is if you if you don't believe in God, then you must be, if you're doing alchemy or magic, or if you're working with other things, if you're not going to church, if you're not following the Bible, then you must be working with the devil, or the devil has you, the devil has possessed you. Listen, I don't work with the devil. I actually believe that, and I think it's very crazy for you to tell me that if I I can't not believe in God and be possessed by the devil at the same time. Like, if you're gonna approach me with that, you got to make it make sense, okay? Um, so in your eyes, I don't believe in God and I work with the devil. Those are two heads on the same coin. So make it make sense. Um, that's not to say that people don't work with spirits and energies, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to, just because this is the path that you're following. You get to know your energy and what you like and what you possess. Everything is about balance. If we're being honest, you possess both energies within you. They reside within you. And that's what kills people the most, the fact that they can't tap into their shadow energy. And that's their biggest downfall. And so, please, if somebody ever tells you that, or somebody believes that, it may not even be worth the energy to try to um, make them understand why that sounds ludicrous. Um, and I say that because sometimes you cannot change people's perspective, and you do not owe anybody an explanation. You just don't. As long as it sits well in your heart, as long as it feels right to you, you don't owe that explanation to anybody. And that's the God's honest truth. Okay, so, and the next one, it kind of goes hand in hand with it. If you're following this path, if you are renouncing Christianity in a sense, then you're evil. What you're doing is evil. You're working with that evil stuff. No, I don't do that. Again, you're not evil. Listen, I wish we wouldn't get caught up on these labels. It's energy, okay? It's about balancing that energy. Whether you choose to go on the far left side with it or the far right side with it is up to you. However, to maintain homeostasis in any level of anything that you do in life, let's talk about your physical body. Let's talk about anatomy and physiology. You have to have homeostasis in order to be healthy. That goes for your spiritual body as well. So you can't be too far left, you can't be too far right. I mean, you can, but you're going to be off balance with it. But that's something that comes with experience. Once you're out there and you're practicing and you're enjoying it and excuse me, you're living it, you realize that it's all energy and you possess all kinds of energy within yourself, light and dark. Um, and it's about you. It is your responsibility to balance that energy. It's nobody else's responsibility. But again, you're not evil. And the moment that you start, let me say this for you guys, the moment that you decide to start looking and questioning things that you've been taught your whole life, you're not evil. The moment you start to look into, the concepts of daemons or demons, those lesser entities and energies that you'll see, the lesser key of Solomon, things like that. You're not evil for acquiring knowledge. And some of the things that you learn might actually be a little mind blowing for you. But I would say start looking into it when you're ready. Don't rush into it. And especially if you're still scared or if you have a closed mind, it's not going to sit right with you if you walk into it with a closed mind or with fear. You have to be open to the knowledge that you're going to receive because that's what it is. It's knowledge. You educate yourself. If you educate yourself on, the different forms of psychosis, that doesn't mean that you're going to be psychotic. It means you're educating yourself. And so that's how you have to look at it, okay? So let's see. The next misconception, it's unnatural. What you're doing is unnatural. How the fuck is working with herbs and oils and crystals, that all these things come from Mother Earth, your ancestors? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. How is any of that unnatural? Don't worry, I'll wait. You are working with nothing but natural sources. So it is impossible for your practice, for your spirituality, to be unnatural. It is impossible. You're not, what's not natural? Pharmaceuticals that come from companies. That's what's not natural. Augmentations to your body. That's not natural. If you do it, I'm not judging you. I'm just giving you a list of things that are not natural. These other things come from the earth, which makes them nature, natural, even crystals. And I'm so tired of people saying that crystals are evil or crystals. Yeah, you can use crystals in baneful magic. Don't get me wrong. And maybe I'll talk about that one day. Because again, everything is about balance. Just like you as a person can be the best person, or on your worst day, you could probably be very hard to deal with. We all have that in us. It's about what energy are you going to let take over. Crystals legit come from the earth. And if you believe in any form of physics, you know that everything is made up of energy. You, me, vibrations. That's how you hear me. You hear my voice because of vibrational frequencies. These things carry vibrational frequencies, period. Something's flowing from the earth, it can't be unnatural. And if anybody tells you that playing with your herbs, or you channeling messages or speaking to spirits, if that's unnatural, then who the fuck are you guys praying to? Every time you say something like, oh, I'm going to ask my grandma to watch over me, that's a prayer, guys, to a spirit who has passed on. So, why is it unnatural for me to ask for a spirit to assist me in workings, but not you? Because you look at it from a different perspective. Y'all be calling on all these saints for protection and for healing, and yet have the nerve to judge people who are calling on them within their own house. Why? Because you're not doing it within the church? Is that why it's unnatural? I don't think so. So don't let anybody tell you that your practices are unnatural. I feel like your judgments are not my problem. I can't even express that enough. So there's that. Let's see, what else do I have? Picking a path to follow immediately. So this is a good one because I feel like there's so many things to get into when you first start, and even when you're into it for a while, and you're like, oh, do I want to do Wicca? What is Wicca? What's a pagan? Celtic, Norse, hoodoo, voodoo, candle magic, water magic, crystal magic. Like, there's a lot going on. And I think that the best advice that I can give you guys is to have fun. Do not be so caught up with having to pick a path right when you start that you miss out on the opportunity to explore different paths and different options. The reason why I say that is because what if you come right out the gate and be like, okay, I'm going to practice, I don't know, hoodoo. And then you realize that you are more attracted to working with ruins and Norse mythology and things like that. Um, then you jumped into something because it was in your eyes a fad or it was trending, and that's not even where your calling lies. Or what if your calling lies with fairies and you need to work with the fays? You don't know that if you automatically discount things just because your ego tells you that this is where you need to be. Have fun, experiment, do different things, buy different books, read up, be knowledgeable. One cautionary tale that I will tell you though is that if you are going to start in something that is a cultural folk magic like hoodoo, that comes and deals with actual African spirituality and things like that, you should be approaching that with respect. Um, don't think that you're entitled to anything because you're not. And I think that for some people, it gets to be frustrating because they feel like, damn, y'all make us feel like this is such a bad thing, but then other people are doing it and it's not that bad. So I would approach things with respect. That's not saying it's hands on or hands off. That's really not my call to make. I can have my own beliefs and think and believe a certain way about it, but it's not my place to tell you what you can and cannot do, if I'm being honest. Now, if I like what you do or what you don't do, that's for me to live with. I don't lead your path, and your path shouldn't be led by the um, voice of other people. I could sit here and tell you that I don't feel like this person should practice voodoo, but is that my place? No. Why? Because I'm concerned with my path and working my path and the spirits that are helping me along on my path. If voodoo decides to accept you, if the spirits of hoodoo decide to accept you, if the spirits of the Celtic gods decide to accept you, then that's between you and them. Um, I don't think a lot of them will. And so, yeah, I think it's just about respect. I think it's about learning all that you can learn and being respectful. And if you don't believe Black Lives Matter, then you don't have any business practicing hoodoo or voodoo. And that's the bottom line. And I'm going to say it just like that. You don't have no business practicing Santeria. You don't have no business practicing any of that. Lukumi, none of that. So that I stand very strong in. I'm not even going to sit here and kid with you guys. And I also feel a little bit like this too. Hoodoo, part of hoodoo is about working with your ancestors. And so you really need to ask yourself, are those the ancestors you want to be calling on? Ancestors that, I mean, and look at it both ways. Like, are you calling on African ancestors? Do you think that that's appropriate? Because those aren't your ancestors. And, oh, okay, that's not who you're calling on. Or are you calling on your ancestors that enslaved the African people? Do you think those are the best spirits that you want to be working with? I don't know. Like I said, there's different schools of thoughts on it. Ultimately, you do what feels right for you. You find the community that accepts you. I would tread lightly and respectfully, just like with any culture. I would not, you know, walk into a Catholic church and when they started standing and sitting, not stand and sit with them because you have to be respectful. That's their house, it's their rules. So I would keep that in mind. But as far as picking your path, I don't feel like that's something that you should worry about right away. I feel like you should experiment, have fun, be very knowledgeable, and let your path take you where it takes you. So here's a good one. Resonating with the word witch. Okay, Sierra, I practice spirituality and I play with herbs and essential oils and I make concoctions and, I have my own garden or I cook with love. That's how I show love to people. I cook, kitchen witch, or I bake cookies, kitchen witch, um, you know, but, or I read astrology, cosmic witch, or whatever. I do all that, but I don't really resonate with the word witch. Like, is that okay? Of course it's okay. You don't have to resonate with anything you don't fucking want to. Like, again, it's your life, it's your path. You have to feel comfortable with it. Here's the reason why I don't run away from the word. Not because I believe I'm a quote unquote witch. What is a witch? It's a title. It's a title that you gave to women that was derogatory, and that's why a lot of men who practice spirituality feel like, oh, can I use the term witch? Yeah, you can be a witch. Don't be out here calling yourself no fucking warlock, because if you look that up, a warlock is somebody who did something really bad and got kicked out of this coven. So, yeah, you be a witch, but the point is the word was given as a derogatory name to women who were the first original herbalists. Like, you call them witch doctors in Louisiana, right? That's what you call them, a witch doctor. But you call them an herbalist anywhere else, or you call them a shaman in the Native American traditions. It's people who worked with herbs and the spirit of herbs and different forms of spirituality to heal. I don't know why my nose is itching. I'm going to have to look up that omen. I know that means something. If any of you know, just go ahead and send it to me in the DM. But if you're watching me on YouTube, you see I keep like scratching my nose. It's because it itches and it's an omen and now it's red. But anyways, it's no different. It's like it was put there to make you feel bad about yourself or make you feel ashamed if you choose to embrace it. It's like the word pussy. Pussy is a derogatory name for your vagina. And, it's like, that's why you see a lot of feminists embracing the word, because when you embrace something, it takes power out of it. I'm embracing it because you can't hurt me with this word. Okay, I'm a witch, fine. And anything else you want to say about it? No? Okay, moving on. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to call yourself that. Um, do you work with herbs? Do you grow herbs? Do you cure holistically with herbs? Okay, yeah, you're a green witch to some, but to you, you just have a green thumb. Fine. At the end of the day, who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares. If you want to call yourself that, call yourself that. If you don't want to, don't. It's really not that deep, guys. I swear to you, it's not. But I have fun with it because I think that there's Oddly enough, it's kind of crazy because there's still a shock value. Like my husband will be like, "Yeah, my wife's a witch," and people are like, "What?" um, and it's taking the evil out of the word, the mean spirit that was attached to that word. It's taking it out and it's humanizing it. It's normalizing it. Like me in my Ayurvedic class, we learn a lot about the healing properties of herbs. And you know what I think is fucking hilarious? They use crystals and gemstones in Ayurveda, but some people don't believe. I don't know. They don't understand the energy that it carries. So I think it's hilarious, but whatever. I just feel like at the end of the day, again, it's your path. So you have to do what feels right for you. And so if it's something where you're ashamed and that's why you don't want to call yourself, then you need to do some shadow work. If it's just like, no, I'm not a witch, I'm a healer. Okay, fine, call yourself a healer. If it's other people are calling you that and it makes you feel a certain type of way, for me, I'm like, call me whatever the fuck you want because I'm only going to answer to what feels right to my soul. So if the word witch doesn't feel right to me, then I'm not going to answer to it. You know, if your friends do this all the time, and it's taking the power out of the word, that demeaning power. They'd be like, "Bitch," and that's how you start a story, and you're not really offended by it, and you answer. You'd be like, "What, bitch?" You're not offended by it because you answer to what feels right. Now, if somebody off the street said it to you, you'd be like, "Who the fuck is she talking to?" But if it was a friend saying it, you laugh or you answer back and you move on from there. So call me whatever you want. I'm only going to answer to whatever feels right to myself. And that's the outlook that you should have on it too. You don't have to resonate with anything. If the word doesn't sit right with you, it doesn't sit right. Call yourself whatever you want. Call yourself a fucking unicorn if it makes you feel good. If it makes you feel pretty, if it makes you feel powerful, call it. Claim it, live it, believe it, do it. Just don't allow other people to do it for you and don't allow other people to um, guide your path as far as what you decide to resonate with. Let's see. So, where to start? So, when I first started, and I still have such a love for crystals, guys, but I wanted to do a little bit of everything. I wanted to do crystals, I wanted to do herbs, I wanted to do candles, I wanted to do astrology, So I have all of these half finished products in the beginning, and it's like, oh, where to start, what to do. Okay, well, this is interesting. Well, let me jump to this, let me jump to that. To me, in my opinion, I feel like that's okay. That's okay because how else are you going to know where your true passion lies? And then I found myself a year or 2 years later going back to something that I had dabbled with, in the beginning. And it's like, you know what? I really enjoy this. Let me read a little bit more about it because now I understand it on a different level. I understand it more than I did when I first started reading it because it didn't resonate in my spirit the way that it does now. So again, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so strict. This is not about being strict and you have to do things a certain type of way. You don't. This is your path. You do it the way that you want to do it. As long as you're not out there intentionally trying to hurt people, I say do as you please. You know what I'm saying? Um, the other thing is, and this part fucking irritates my soul. When I see somebody ask a question like on Facebook or Instagram and people are saying, no, you absolutely have to do it like this or it won't work. What? Okay, listen. Maybe you absolutely had to do it like that or it wouldn't work for you. But that's you and your energy. That is why you have a grimoire and you also have a journal where you're writing your spells in because the spells that actually work or the recipes that actually work end up moving into your grimoire. Other than that, it's trial and error. He's like, oh, okay, well, let me add a little bit more of this. Oh, okay, now it's working. Let me write that in there. Or, you know what, let me add some licorice root and really get his ass to listen. It's like, oh, okay, that worked. Let me make sure I add that in. It's trial and error. My recipe might not work for you. Your recipe might not work for me because maybe I vibe more with the spirits of the herbs that I use as opposed to you vibe more with the other herbs or the other crystals or the other technique that you do. Maybe you're more powerful when you are working with fire, and maybe somebody else is more powerful with their thought and their telekinesis and that type of energy. Who the fuck are you to tell me I have to do something a certain type of way or it won't answer? The only caveat to that I would say is if you are, again, working in a practice like a religion, like voodoo, and they have strict rules, or Santeria, and they have strict rules on how you're supposed to handle things. By no means am I saying you should disrespect whatever their religion is and do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's not what I said. Don't be out here saying that that's what I said. I said what I said, but that's not what I said. I said all these other people that you go and get your information from that tell you you have to remove your moon water before the sun hits it or you have to throw it out. Bitch, do you know the last time there was a blue moon, full moon on Halloween? I'm not throwing that water out. Stop playing and stop telling people they have to. You don't. And don't be afraid to say if you don't know something. I hate when people can't admit that they don't know anything. I don't know everything. I know some things, but I'll tell you one thing. If you ask me a question I don't know the answer, you can bet your ass that I'm going to go look for it. And I have a lot of resources to look for it. So, but yeah, please don't listen to everybody who says that you have to do things a certain way. There are things that are more effective if you do it in a certain way. That doesn't mean you have to do it any kind of way. You do you, boo. Not everybody follows the moon cycles when they're doing their magic. I do, but it works well for me. But I also know that in a tight pinch, I can do, a money spell on a fucking Monday as long as I'm using the hour Jupiter. I know that there's certain loopholes to things that I can do. So for somebody to tell you that you have to do something a certain type of way in order for it to be effective, in my beliefs, I don't believe that that's true. And I think that you should do some more research before you really believe that. So here's my favorite, and I fell victim to this. If you become spiritual, you cannot cuss or get upset. Listen, there was a moment in time, I swear to God, you guys. Listen, I'm ratchet at heart. Like, ratchet women music is my soul. I should have been a rap artist, okay? There was a point in time where I did rap. Don't tell people that. I probably wrote like one or two songs. But I own like every fucking female rap artist, and I pretend to be them when I'm performing a concert on a long drive. It is what it is. But when I really got into my spirituality and things like that, for some reason in my mind, it was like, oh, I better not listen to them. What is spirit's listening? And I don't elevate because this is a lower vibration, these words, and listen. So I stopped cussing people out. I stopped trying to be upset, but really what I was doing was bottling that shit in, and that's not healthy. You don't have to stop cussing. You don't have to give up your favorite rap artist. Um, I think there was even a moment like a couple years back where I was just like, I'm not going to listen to Cardi B. And I loved her album. I loved her mixtapes. I'm sorry. And I was like, no, this isn't good. I'm trying to do whatever I'm doing right now and I need to just back away. Bitch. No, you don't. Don't lose yourself in trying to find spirituality because that's you running backwards. And one thing that I'll say now is I'll listen to all that ratchet shit because it fucking turns my sacral chakra upside down. Like it gets it flowing the way that it's supposed to because it's empowering. These words carry power. And so you feel that energy, and it's a lot of sexual energy, and it gets that moving. And so yeah, listen, I think what it is, it's not that you don't cuss people out anymore. It's about being more aware of where you want to spend your energy. Do I really feel like spending my energy cussing this bitch out? Or is it easier for me to just conserve it and not give her any energy? Because now I realize on my journey that this person's just dying for attention, or they're an energy vampire and they sense that I am sensitive to energy, and so they want to dump their energy on me so that they can cleanse themselves in a sense. It's about being more wise where you exert your energy. It doesn't mean that you don't get upset. It doesn't mean that you don't have emotions. It doesn't mean that, you know, you you have to stop swearing. It just means that you're more aware of where you spend your money, right? If a place mistreated me, I am not going to spend my money there anymore. I'm going to choose to spend my money in a different establishment. And that's the same thing. Don't choose to give this place your energetic money, your energetic frequencies. You choose to put it in a different establishment. And so, but don't think you have to be out here not defending yourself or letting people treat you any kind of way or, turning the other cheek. Yeah, turn the other cheek, but tell her what you have to tell her. Tell him what you have to tell him. And if it's worth it. If it's not worth the energy, who cares? Let it roll off your back. So, yeah. So, don't change you trying to find spirituality. Spirituality, when you really dive into yourself and your journey and your loving of yourself, the aspects about you that need to mature will mature on their own. You don't have to stop doing things. And you don't have to like everybody just because you're spiritual now. If we don't vibe, we don't vibe. It's all about recognizing that we don't vibe and being okay with it. I don't have to dislike you just because I don't vibe with you, and I don't have to associate with you, and I'm okay in saying that or being that. And so understand that spirituality is not this thing now where you have become, you know, holier than thou, better than everybody else, or, holding yourself at a higher standard so that you're not allowed to feel emotions. Not feeling emotions is what causes blockages in your chakras. And I want to say your sacral region. And the reason why I want to say that is because for you ladies, your sacral is where all your divine power lies. You tap into that sacral energy, it'll work. I'm telling you right now. And so, no, don't bottle up your emotions. Just be wise about where you spend your energy. Let's see. You have to work with deities. And so the thing is, you start, and everything's so exciting, right? And like the first people you hear about are like Hecate and Aphrodite. You hear about the Morgan. You hear about all of these wonderful, if you're practicing, Beyonce done made Oshun like big time for people who don't really know. And I think that that's a beautiful thing because now you guys are open to the concept and the ideas of African traditional religion. I will say there are so many other orishas to look into. Um, and so that's about educating yourself. But, so you think right away you should be working with deities. Kali. Everybody talks about Kali. You should be working with these deities. And the truth of the matter is, when you're first starting, you don't need to do anything you're not comfortable with doing. And the reason why I say that is because working with deities is the moment you start working with them is the moment when you realize that really you're a walking God or goddess within yourself. And so this is just an element of yourself that you're working with. Um, it is a spirit that is within you that you are working with. And until you can really understand that concept, you probably just don't even need to because there's so much other things to learn and to be a part of and to play with. Everything doesn't have to be serious, but don't be out here doing no sacrifices or blood donations or no shit like that in the name of Kali, because that's not even what she was even about. You saw that on a documentary on the History Channel, and spirituality is a lot deeper than that, guys. That was a cult formed and they put her on the face of it. But the thing is, when you're working with a deity, what you're actually doing is working with that god or goddess energy that lies within yourself. That is who you are calling upon. But that is a concept that you will grow to understand later on in your journey. Don't rush to it right now. And so then the last one that I have are journals and spells. Okay, first of all, guys, I would say when you're doing your spell work, I would be mindful of the amount of spells that you're doing all at the same time, only because how do you know which one worked for you? So if I did a money spell and I tried two or three different money spells with different ingredients, how do you know which one worked if you lit them all at the same time? And also give things time to work. I would recommend if you do a money spell in order to test its effectiveness, give it a full cycle, a full moon cycle. Um, for that energy to grow. If it's really good, you could probably start feeling the energies within the day or two. But to give it to time to grow into something, nothing comes ready made. Stop thinking that you're going to get these microwave things. Anything that comes ready made that's microwave and you got it just like that, and you didn't have to put in work, it's not going to last long. That's in life. But be patient and watch it grow and journal and monitor. And I promise you, if you journal, you'll be able to look back 15 days ago and be like, oh shit, I did find $50 after I did that. Or, oh shit, I did get this job interview after I did that. And things will start clicking that you overlooked before, you didn't realize. So make sure that you journal whatever you do, and that you, when you write down the spells that you did, make sure that you write down the day you did it, the hour you did it, that's what you're following. Write down the moon cycle that you were in. Write down what your manifestation was. Write down your ingredients that you used. Um, whatever tools that you use, make note of that so that you know what works. Because if that shit works, you'll be able to do it again or enhance it. Or, when you're ready to start doing things for other people, you'll be able to do it for other people. If something doesn't work, you'll be able to add to or subtract, but you won't know if you don't write it down. Just like you won't understand your progress if you don't write it down. So that's my spiel. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Um, Oh, I want to say this though. If you work with essential oils, I would like to call you to your face a fucking green witch. Um, because essential oils are nothing but herbs. Herbs in a bottle. So you're a green witch. If you show people that you love them through your food, you are a kitchen witch. I said it and you needed to hear it. Um, all of you who carry crystals or wear your little crystal bracelets, you are in the beginning stages of crystal witchery. That's you. That's who you are. Own it, accept it, love it, embrace it, become it. Stop running from it, guys. And don't let anybody ever make you ashamed of who you are or what you do. You know why? Because they don't pay your bills, they don't live your life for you. At the end of the day, you have to live life for yourself. If you continue to live life for other people to make sure that they are comfortable, you're going to have a miserable life. You're not going to be happy. And then you're going to find yourself having a midlife crisis because you lived your life for everybody else except for you. So make sure that you live life for you. Okay, guys, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, it is holistically_attuned. I am also on TikTok at holistic_witch. Same name for Twitter, Facebook. My website is www.holisticallyattuned.com. You can find all your metaphysical needs there, from crystals to candles to herbs, everything 100% organic. I even do herbal remedies and things like that, apothecary bath salts. Everything that you really need for your practice, you will find there. So make sure you continue to tune in. I'm going to be doing at least one video every week, and I will be posting it on Instagram once it goes live. But if you guys subscribe now, you'll automatically get the notice to tune in. Okay, so I hope you guys have taken really good notes. You should be having a journal and just write on the front of that journal, Becoming Magical 101, because I give you guys a lot of really, really good information in here. And it could be your little starter grimoire, and then you go home and you try it out. And love it. So if there's something that you guys want to do specifically next week, maybe you want to actually hear how to work on some kind of spell or something like that, go ahead and inbox me and let me know, and I will put that together. Or if you have questions about specific traditions or religions, herbs, anything like that, let me know and I will put that together and we will have fun with it. Okay, guys? Bye.